Hola, buenas tardes, good afternoon, or buenas noches if you're somewhere else in another time zone. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Welcome you to En Casa con La Plaza. We're on our third year. We just celebrated our second year anniversary last Friday. So we're in our third year of these virtual presentations, demonstrations, conversations, and performances from our home to yours or wherever you're located. Right now, I'm in my office, and but hopefully you're at home or doing something, being able to communicate with us through this medium. If you're on Zoom, please use the chat feature to let us know where you're viewing from if you'd like, or you can also ask questions during the demonstration. And those of you on Facebook can do so as well using the comment section on your Facebook page there. Before we get started, La Plaza is open Wednesday through Sunday. We're closed. Starting last week, it started closing on Monday as well as Tuesday. And so we're open from Wednesday through Sunday from noon to 5 p.m. La Tienda gift store is also open. All of our exhibitions are open. LA Starts Here, Calle Principal, Patriotism and Conflict, which is ending soon. So you got to come and check it out before it's gone. LA Memo, Chicana Chicano Art from 72 to 89. La Cocina, our museum and teaching kitchen dedicated to Mexican cuisine, is currently closed. We just deinstalled, or we're in the process of deinstalling our first exhibition, Maíz, Past, Present, and Future. And we're currently installing our next exhibition called Abuelita's Kitchen, Mexican Food Stories. That opens on Sunday, May 22nd with a great reception. More news to come on that, but please just, if you'd like, you can go to laplazacocina.org and get more information on that. And also, you can go to La Cocina Tiendita to get your wonderful goods from our tienda, the Tiendita store that's located there at La Plaza Cocina. All right, so our sponsors are Union Pacific Foundation, Institute for Museum and Library Services. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. But before I do, let me introduce to you Jimena Martin, our Director of Programming and Culinary Arts at La Plaza Cocina. Hola, Jimena.
Hola, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you everybody for visiting us today. As Abelardo mentioned, La Cocina is closed down temporarily as we deinstall and install the new show that's coming. But don't forget, Dia de las Madres is coming up. You can still shop online, take a peek, go on our website, and you can shop, and then you can either come to La Cocina and we could personally deliver those items to you. Again, getting ready for Dia de las Madres. During the time of the COVID, a lot of research and going online on Instagram, and one afternoon, I found Mexican food memories with this wonderful woman who's in the UK, who is making food, Mexican food of all places in the UK, Karla Zazueta. Let me introduce you, Karla Zazueta. Karla?
Hi, hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. I was just telling our folks here how I found you as I was going on Instagram. I saw your beautiful food, and I'm like, this would be a wonderful opportunity to hear your journey and your voice, how you are representing Mexico in the UK. Can you please share some more information on that, please?
Hi, hello, everybody. I'm Karla, this girl from Baja California, from Ensenada. I've been living here in London for the last 18 years. And as Jimena said, thank you for having me here, you guys. I feel really honored to have you have invited me to come into your program. So I was really excited. But yes, so I used to be a Spanish teacher, and, you know, one thing led to another one, and I just, you know, turned my passion for cooking into a career, and, you know, joined my teaching skills with my passion for cooking, and now I do this. I do all sorts, but teaching is my thing, and I love teaching people how to cook Mexican food at home. So either I do it online, or I, you know, welcome people to my house now, because things have, you know, have kind of go back to normal in the UK. So I started to have group classes at home again. But yes, that's me, Karla.
Listo, Carla, tell us, what are you going to prepare for us today?
Well, I decided that, I was gonna, do some corn tortillas. I know that probably a lot of people in California know how to make corn tortillas from scratch, or you can easily buy them, and you're so lucky to be able to have amazing Mexican produce, but we're not that lucky. So either you learn to make your own tortillas at home, or you just get really not very good ones. So that's the one thing that I decided that I was just going to be so good at it. And I think that I kind of mastered the art of making a good corn tortilla at home. And since I, learn properly, now I just don't buy corn tortillas unless I always have these bought tortillas in my fridge for any emergencies, but I'd rather make my own. So yes, that's what we're doing today, corn tortillas.
You were telling us earlier, besides, it's really interesting about the different brands of the corn harina, the corn flour, that not all brands are universal. So you're saying like some of the brands that we find here in the States, you cannot find in the UK.
Yeah. Yes, because I was, I know that, for example, in California or in United States, Hacienda is like a big brand, or Maseca. But we can get Maseca here, but we'll also get all the different brands. And I'm using today this one that is called Naturello, which is a really good brand. That is GMO free. So I really like using the brand of corn flour to make my tortillas.
But you also mentioned you also mentioned our conversation earlier that you actually did nixtamalization at home, yeah?
Yes, because recently there is this company that is importing corn from Mexico to the UK, and I learned how to actually nixtamalize my corn as well. But I only do that for when I'm teaching a class of how to nixtamalize corn and how to make tortillas from nixtamalized corn. So it's really exciting.
Great. Well, let's begin with the class. Do share, please.
Pardon?
Please do share, please.
How to start making the tortillas. Okay, so to make a good corn tortilla, obviously you need nixtamalized corn flour. And I hope that you more or less are familiar with the process of nixtamalization. But if you're not, I'm going to explain you a little bit about what nixtamalization is. So corn, or the nixtamalization, is this process that Mexicans use to cook the corn in order to make it more digestible. So we cook the corn kernels in an alkaline solution. And in this case, we use limestone, not, the limestone that you kind of use to plaster your walls, but, organic, natural limestone. So limestone is this like white rock that when it gets in contact with water, it kind of heats the water and then cooks the corn. And it takes the outer layer of the corn kernel and it makes the corn more, your system can digest it and makes it therefore more nutritious. So, but, the buying, nixtamalized corn flour makes, you skip that process of making or nixtamalize your corn, and it's just easy. So we're gonna use like 1 cup of corn flour. 1 cup usually makes around 7 tortillas. of 35 grams. If you want your tortillas to be the same size, I always weigh my testales. A testal is a double. Yes, so what I have here, and I'm gonna show you now, I'm gonna put my camera down so you can see what I have here. So this is my equipment. So I have a bowl with the flour. To make your life easier, you will need a tortilla press and 2 pieces of plastic, yeah? A little bit of salt if you want, but it's not necessary. You know, when we buy tortillas from a tortilleria, you know, they don't really add salt, but if you want to add a little bit of flavor to your masa, just add a little bit of salt. And then just lukewarm water that you can actually touch with your fingers and it doesn't burn. And obviously a tortillera with a mantita. So you can cook your tortillas and you put your cooked tortillas here and they keep warm until you need them. And a non-stick frying pan. I know that, for example, for you, it will be easier to get a comal, but for me, it's not easy to get a comal because it's kind of impossible unless I kind of would have brought it from Mexico. So I use a non-stick frying pan. You don't need any oil. All you need is a very hot frying pan. So what I do is when I start doing my dough, I turn on my frying pan. So my frying pan is like hot when I actually finish doing the dough. And a good tortilla or a good masa will make a tortilla that it will cook in less than a minute. So if your tortilla is longer than a minute on the heat, it's going to get hard and it's going to dry it out. So we don't want that. We want a soft, nice tortilla. So what I'm going to do now is my frying pan is on and I am going to put a little bit of salt just because I like it. And then I'm going to start adding the water with one hand and with the other one, I'm going to start, you know, bringing the flour together. And we want a kind of soft consistency, but not too soft that it sticks onto your hands and not too dry that your masa will kind of like breaks into 2 blocks. Your masa needs to be kind of a little bit more moist than Play-Doh. You know, Play-Doh feels like it's a masa, right? Well, your dough to make tortillas needs to be more moist than Play-Doh. Here, you know, in my jug, I have 250 ml of water. So that is probably going to be enough for this flour. And, you know, don't be shy. Just kind of mix the flour to make sure that there's no like kind of dry flour inside your masa. And remember that, you know, corn flour obviously is gluten-free. So you don't really need to treat it as gluten or as a normal flour. So once it comes together as dough, as masa, you can start working with it. You know, I see sometimes people that think that they need to rest this dough. I don't know, it's just like a probably personal preference. I never actually do. I always, you know, make my masa, and as soon as I make my masa, I start making tortillas. Because even though it's gluten-free, this masa is quite sensitive. So if you leave it unattended, if you leave it uncovered, this masa will kind of dry up. And it doesn't matter if it's dried up. So you just add a little bit more water and it will rehydrate again. The worst that can happen to you. So this is the consistency of my masa. Look, it's quite pliable and you can see that my finger goes in quite easily. And if I do this, it stays together as a block, as a one ball of masa. It doesn't break. It feels soft enough, but not too soft that it sticks onto my hands. Yes? So this is the right consistency for a good masa for making tortillas. So let's say that this is like a 35 gram, more or less, pestal. I always do 35 grams if I want to make a tortilla taquera. But if, for example, I'm making Baja fish tacos, I do 40 or 45 grams because the Baja fish tacos need like a bigger tortilla, but a tortilla taquera is smaller. So then you open your tortilla press. By now, my frying pan is really hot. Then you put your testal in the middle, press it slightly so it doesn't move. Then put the other plastic on top, close your tortilla press. And what I do, because I already been working with this tortilla press for a long time, I know that I have to open it, flip it over, and then just press it and finish it off. And voila, listo. Here's your tortilla. So your tortilla, then take off the top plastic off. Carefully, take off the other plastic. And your tortilla needs to be the same thickness, all around. Yes? So it cooks evenly. Yes? So then once your tortilla is off the plastics, just make sure it doesn't stick onto your hands. And then we're gonna take it to the very hot frying pan. So you're traveling with me. So what I do is I just put it in my frying pan and wait for the tortilla to cook like 10 seconds on that side. And then carefully flip it over. Yes. And then I flip it like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times so that tortilla cooks evenly. And if you make a good masa, this tortilla will puff. So, and as soon as it puffs, then your tortilla is ready. So if you see that your tortilla wants to puff, but is struggling a little bit, you can help it to puff by either using a spatula or using your hands. But my tortilla is puffing, and I'll show you. Let me just, can you see? It's just puffing by itself. So I'm just gonna flip it over, and it just puff all around. So that means that this tortilla, can you see, is ready. And in less than a minute, we have a really nice tortilla that we're gonna put in our tortillera. So that was our first tortilla, and it wasn't difficult, right? So this is our first tortilla, and as you can see, it's very flexible, very thin, the same thickness all around. And if you are able to do this and open it back and it doesn't break, that means that you made the most wonderful corn tortilla in your life. Any questions about making tortillas, or are you ready to make a second one?
Please, let's make another one while you're cooking away. Just real quick, make another one so we can have 2. What we do is because this will live on forever on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. And so what we do is we ask our guests to put it on a plate, and then we take a picture. But make one more just in case. I've never have the opportunity to make it puffed. I haven't got the right consistency. So
Ah,
they're always
yes.
like flat. So they're more like tostadas versus masa tortillas. So it's practice,
Yeah.
practice, practice. You can show just one more time the right consistency, or just make another one. And that way we have two. And then we can have a nice photograph for us to live on
Yeah,
our YouTube
perfect.
channel.
So I will repeat, all my tips on making the perfect tortilla. So it's important to have the right consistency in the masa. And I know a lot of people get to the point that, you make a masa, you make this, and they think that, oh, it's a masa, it's a bowl of masa, so it's ready. No, everybody makes that mistake. Make sure that your dough is soft, but not too soft that it sticks onto your hand or sticks onto the plastic. So the other tip is that if you just by accident happen to put too much water into the flour, make sure that always have some flour behind, because it's easier to fix a very wet flour by adding a little bit of dry flour, but it is impossible to take away the water if you don't have any flour left. So anyway, so we're gonna do another tortilla. So the other thing I'm gonna tell you about before I do the other tortilla is the heat. So at the moment, my pan is in very high heat. So if I take the next tortilla we're doing into my very hot frying pan, it's gonna burn my tortilla. So what I do is that I lower the heat, and I'm always, controlling the heat in my pan, which is wonderful because that is the the advantage of having a frying pan and having a gas hob or an induction hob than a comal. The ladies that make tortillas and cook them in a comal with leña, they don't have that, but they're so clever that they know which part of the comal is hotter than other. But anyway, let's make the other tortilla. So we have the plastic on the tortilla press, then press it slightly, and you can see that my masa is perfectly moist, because when I press down my testal, it doesn't make any cracks. Yes, so that means that it's still a good masa. Then you put the plastic on top, and then, as I said to you, I already know my tortilla press, so I know that I have to press it once, then flip it over and press it again, and that's my tortilla done. And the other tip I know when a tortilla is very well done, because it's a good dough, is that my tortilla doesn't have any kind of bumpy edges. Yes, a masa that needs water always makes tortillas that has bumpy edges. Then you take off your tortilla from the plastic very carefully and make sure that it doesn't stick into your hands. Yes, and then you take it to your very hot frying pan and just flip it down. And at the moment, I'm gonna put my heat up because I want to cook this tortilla in less than a minute. So I wait like 10 minutes, and as soon as it starts floating, can you see it moves? Then I flip it over carefully. And then, I flip it maybe one more time. And then I always make sure that the tortilla cooks evenly. If you leave it for too long in one side, your tortilla will start developing cracks. I mean, you can still eat that tortilla, but it's not gonna look like perfectly done. So, and as you can see, I'm gonna turn the camera so you can see that tortilla is it's puffing by itself. But as I said to you, you know, if you see that your tortilla is struggling to puff and your frying pan is too hot, just give it a little bit of help, you know? It's like a little baby. And then once it puffs all around, then it's just done. And this tortilla is done, yeah? Then take it into the tortillera and put it with a little sister tortilla that we have here. And then just cover it and it's done. Let me just put the camera back.
Perfect.
Any questions about tortillas, guys?
I think I know what I was goofing on. I think what I did was I would let it rest. I think now next time I make them, I'm not going to let it rest. I'm just going to get my Play-Doh, get it ready, and then just go ahead and do it. But if you could be so kind to place it, the tortillas on a plate, so Abelardo can take a photograph.
Yes, definitely.
Thank
And
you for all
also,
those
you know,
wonderful tips.
Yes, and also I just make frijolitos de la olla earlier because I always make frijoles de la olla on Mondays because, you know, in this house we are very Mexicans. Although my husband is English and my children were born here, I'm still like following my mom's tradition of cooking beans on Mondays. So I make some frijolitos de la olla. So if you want to, I can put some frijolitos, and so that
Sure.
our tortillas like look nicer.
Absolutely.
Like a tacos. Let me just have my plate here. So you want me to make some like tacos or just put the tortillas? So
Como
How do you want
quieras,
it?
we're in your kitchen, como quieras. I'm a guest in your house. I will eat what you put on the table, whatever you like.
okay, so we have the tortillas here, and as you can see, they still very flexible, very warm, and they will hold a taco, believe me. And there is nothing more beautiful than making your own, you know, corn tortillas at home. And I know a lot of people have this like thought of like, oh, corn tortillas are so difficult to make, but no, they're not. They're like so easy, and there is nothing better than a homemade tortilla. So, yep. So let's see. There's some frijolitos de la olla here. Phew, 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 phew. Just been like, I just finished cooking them. And then we can just put a little bit of, in this case, feta cheese, because as I was telling you, it's impossible for us to find queso fresco. You're so lucky to have all these very nice Mexican cheeses in California. We're not. that
Yeah,
lucky.
in Ensenada, well, next to Valle de Guadalupe, the last time I was there, there was this group of ladies making homemade cheeses. So many
yes.
different types with herbs and leaves made up in baskets. I was trying to figure out how I can smuggle up into the United States all these cheeses.
Yeah. In Valle de Guadalupe, they make an amazing produce of cheeses. And there's actually a queseria, a cremeria near to this restaurant. When you just get into, I think it's Santo Tomas, they make really nice cheeses there. So here are my tacos, and let me just put some of this amazing salsa matcha I make at home. Because I love salsa matcha, and you know, I always have a little bit. So there's nothing better than a taquito de frijol, right? I'm sure that a lot of people are gonna agree with me. You know, just homemade tacos de frijol with, well, in this case, queso fresco, but feta, with a little bit of coriander, fresh coriander, and salsa matcha, with our homemade corn tortillas.
Karla, if you could bring your camera back up and then just hold it. Así, mira. There you go. So I could get
We can see it.
Yeah, so we could see it and see you. If you could say queso or say tortillas.
Queso.
Okay, otra vez here. Let me get ready. Oh,
Queso.
perfecto. Otra vez.
Queso.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Bueno, Karla, muchísimas gracias. Please let us know when you're in Los Angeles. We'd love to have you. And again, thank you so much for sharing your passion of Mexican cuisine in the UK. How fortunate are they to have such an amazing teacher, everything from scratch and homemade. But adelante, éxitos, and thank you so much for sharing your passion of Mexican cuisine here with us.
Muchas gracias por tenerme. Realmente, I was so looking forward to be here with you guys. And as I said to you at the beginning, I feel so honored, and it was just so lovely to meet you. And whenever you are in London, you know, mi casa is tu casa, so you're more than welcome to come. And if if your guests have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions. Or if we finish here in London, it's 11:30 p.m. So yes, so it's just quite late now. That's why my lighting is so bad, because usually I have the sunlight coming through my window and everybody can see, and my kitchen looks nicer. But no, yes.
Well, thank you, Karla. Thank you, Jimena, for hosting today. Karla, for taking the time from your evening with your family to be with us on En Casa con la Plaza. We have Ariadna M says, gracias a Karla por la clase. So thank you, Ariadna, for joining in.
De nada.
So thank you to all that joined us on Facebook and Zoom. And soon we'll be posting this on our YouTube page at La Plaza LA. It'll live on our Facebook page, of course, at La Plaza LA, and also on our website, lapca.org. So thank you, Karla. Next week we have with us Wendy Centeno. She'll be, I think it's Calabacitas next week, next Monday at 3 o'clock. So join us on En Casa con la Plaza Cocina. As I mentioned before, La Plaza Cocina is closed just for the next couple of weeks as we start installing our newest exhibition, Abuela's Kitchen, Mexican Food Stories. So we're looking forward to that. Otra vez, gracias, Karla. Thanks for your time.
Adiós.
Adiós, Jimena.
Buenas
We'll see you soon.
noches.
Buenas noches a todos.
Gracias.
All right, bye-bye.
Adiós.